Talk to parents a lot. Today I'm talking to our teenagers. I'm talking to you. You who are in the most important decade of your life before moving out into the world, right? You are teenagers, tweens. You have so much potential. You have so much ahead of you. I'm going to tell you two stories, and they will look totally unrelated, but they are going to both play into my message today. Teenagers, we're going to talk about your brain today because your brain is the key to all of your success in life. Who you are, who you want to be, what's your track? What are you going to be on? What path? Where are you going to go? And how are you going to get there? So, we're going to talk about your brain today, and I'm going to first tell you these two stories. So, story number one. When I was in college, some friends of mine invited me to go hiking with them. There's big mountains near us where we were, and there's one in particular that was a very popular hike. And the best part was if you hiked it overnight, you could be at the top and watch the sunrise. Oh, so pretty. You're up there, you see forever in every direction, and then the sun comes up. You're getting this rosy color in the sky, and slowly it all brightens up, and it's just magical. And you see the lights in the valley below, and it's just so amazing. So I was really excited for this hike, and my friends, so these two guys, they decided to surprise us with a pancake breakfast at the top of this mountain. So we didn't know this. The girls in the group, we didn't know this. So in their backpack, they had a bag of charcoal, they had pancake mix, jugs of water, frying pan, skillet, or a spatula, a bottle of syrup. They had butter. They had paper plates and forks and knives, and they were going to surprise us with pancake breakfast on the top of this very popular mountain hike and see this incredible view as the sun is coming up and we're eating pancakes at like 12,000 feet elevation. So we had no idea they're hauling all this gear. I didn't really understand why they had huge backpacks, but that's what that was for. It was our breakfast. We get to the very top of this hike. It took a long time. It's a big hike. We're so tired. We're doing this through the night. We finally get to the very top, and they start pulling stuff out of their backpacks. And they have pancake mix and water, and they're mixing it in a bowl or a pitcher, and they're trying to build a fire. They're getting everything set up. But guess what? The pancakes would not cook. The frying pan could not get hot enough to cook the batter. And it could not get hot enough because there's not enough oxygen at that elevation to just use a charcoal pile and some lighter fluid. And it's just not enough oxygen to get this flame nice and hot and cook anything. Not even pancake batter. And it just kind of sat there for a really long time. And it was like sort of cooking, but not really. We couldn't eat it. So they had hauled all this stuff up. Now they have a pitcher full of pancake batter that they cannot do anything with. They were pretty disappointed. And so are we, because we thought, oh, how amazing. And this is kind of romantic, I guess. And this incredible thing that we're eating pancakes on the top of a mountain. And it was not to be. Okay, that's story number one. Story number two. When my older boys, who are now in college, like I was in the first story, when they were little, they would get out of bed. We put them to bed, close the door, lights are off. We're thinking that they're going to go to sleep. They would get out of bed and they'd start chasing each other around the room and playing. They're like 5 years old and 7 maybe, or 4 and 6. And so they're just like running around. We'd have to come and like put them back in bed, turn the light off again, get everybody settled. Well, one time they were running around in the dark and the younger one crashed into a wooden chair that was in the room between their beds where we would sit to read a story to them. And he fell hard. His forehead hit the edge of the chair. He ended up having to get stitches in the ER. So poor little guy, stitches on his head, and he had he had that painful recovery. He had a lump on his head, and poor little guy. But he was running around in the dark. He couldn't see where he was going. And so he crashed. He tripped, he fell, he collided with his brother, fell onto the chair, and ended up having to get stitches. Okay, so that's story number 2. What I want to talk about today, teenagers, tweens, older kids, you have an incredible gift. You have a light that is inside of you. And that light is called agency. Agency is the power to choose the way you're going to think, to choose the way you're going to speak, to choose the way you're going to feel, and to choose how you're going to behave. This light can only get brighter when you are feeding it, when you are being intentional about how you're handling that light. So at the top of a mountain where there's not enough oxygen, that light dims, or it doesn't get hot enough to create the result that you want. So when you are thinking about your agency, your power to choose, think about the influences that you have around you that are either going to help fuel that fire inside of you to keep making good choices, to keep setting goals, to keep having this future, this trajectory that you want to be on. What is going to fuel that fire so that it's bright and it provides light to you? My son in the second story, he had no light. He was leaving his wellness, his safety to chance. He might miss the chair and the bed and the nightstand and the dresser and whatever else is in the room. He was leaving it all to chance and guessing that he could remember well enough, maybe spatial reasoning, that he could avoid collision, but it didn't work. He crashed, he tripped into his brother, fell on that chair, gashed his forehead open. Your agency, if you leave your choice making, your decision making to chance, you have a very likely outcome of crashing, tripping, stumbling, and having some sort of painful consequence. What does this have to do with your brain? In the prefrontal cortex of your brain, this is where you are thinking, you are reasoning, you are planning for the future. You're determining, is this idea a good one or not that my friend has? Should we vape together or not? That might make us better friends. Maybe we'll have a good time. Maybe we'll feel kind of good. But the vaping, could it become addictive? Could it become something that starts to diminish my ability to think and reason for myself as I develop a desire for the dopamine rush that comes from vaping, from using substances? Is that going to help me to make better choices or not? If I take in substances, they are going to reduce the use of my prefrontal cortex, because the pleasure center in my brain is going to be lit up. It's going to start to take a stronger hold on how I behave, because my brain says, "Ooh, I love dopamine. Give me more of that." And instead of realizing and thinking and planning and deciding, is vaping going to be good for me or not, you just go with the default. Well, it feels good, and my buddy is happy with me because I'm doing what he wants me to do, and we're gonna do this sneaky thing together. Your light will start to diminish, though, when your agency, your thinking and reasoning skills and capacity are diminished. Your light begins to diminish. You're taking away the fuel that will help this part of your brain have full access and control over your path and who you are trying to become. There's a hijack taking place. And when teens use substances, you guys, your brain is still developing and it starts to interfere with that development. Because we always talk about the brain is immature, it's not fully developed. Well, what are we talking about? We're talking about this part of the brain where you do your thinking and reasoning, where you're going to plan for the future and evaluate, is this going to help me to get to where I want to go? Or is it just, I'm just going to throw it all to chance? So this part of your brain, as it's developing, extra care is needed to protect this part of the brain while it's developing. So teenagers, this is why we have laws in place to prevent you from using substances that are addictive. Alcohol, tobacco, vaping, drugs, okay, all of that is being limited legally because we need you to have a fully developed brain so that you can make your best decisions, so that you can be fully functioning as an adult. Now, studies have shown that teenagers who start to use alcohol before the age of 15, they're 5 times more likely to become an alcoholic as an adult, to have a dependency on that alcohol, on that substance. The brain has rewired to need it and to believe that it can't survive without it. It's the same thing for all substances. So when we're talking about agency, the ability to use this part of your brain, this is the part that's going to help you to decide what your future goals are, which career path you're going to take, who you should date, who you should marry, the way you want to treat other people. How do you want to show up in the workplace and in social settings? What kind of person do you want to be? This is all tied up with the thinking and reasoning part in your brain. So teenagers, I really want you to think about that. This is the light that you need to keep bright so that you don't throw it all to chance. So those 2 stories I've shared where in number 1, we couldn't make the fire hot enough to cook at the top of the mountain. We needed oxygen. There wasn't enough. So when we are using substances or getting into addictive behaviors, gaming is a huge one. Gaming and gambling and pornography, all of these, again, hijack the thinking reasoning center, shut it down. And all that can happen now is the emotional response, the pleasure centers, they take over. So you're not going to make your best decisions. You're not adding fuel to your fire and making it strong and resilient so that you can make the best choices and have the best outcome. Think about the future life that you want. When you think about your life 10 years from now, where do you want to be? What kind of relationship do you want to be in? What kind of career path do you want to be in? Do you want to be in a career that's sustainable, can provide for you, can take care of you and any other dependents that might come along? If you decide to get married, if you want to have children, think about where you want to be. We're looking at either stability or chaos. When we leave things to chance, we're in chaos. When we have a clear idea, a plan, at least an idea, we don't know when we're 10 or 15 necessarily who we're going to marry and what job we're going to get and what career we're going to stick with, because we might change our minds along the way. We might date different people and be engaged and break up and find somebody else. That's all right. That's part of the decision-making process. We might even start one career and say, after 10 years, I'm not really enjoying this anymore. I want to do something else. Great. Go back to school, get some more training, do something new, start your own venture. You can do that. You're more likely to be successful in whatever it is you want to do if at least in your teenage years you have some sort of idea. I do want to have a family someday. I want to get married. I want to have children. I want to have a job that will provide for my family. And I want to have good health. I want to pursue interests. I want to have talents. I want to develop skills. I want to try new things. I want to travel and see the world. I want to go explore the Grand Canyon. Whatever it is you come up with. But as a teenager right now, this is your time to set at least some sort of framework of what you want to achieve in your life. And the habits and patterns you establish now will follow you into adulthood and help make those things happen. And so when you are fueling your agency now as a teenager, avoiding the substances that will diminish your ability to choose and think for yourself, like I was saying, gaming, pornography, substance use, gambling, all of these things diminish your thinking and turn you into more of a robot to get more of that. You're no longer the guardian of yourself. The more that you submit and give over your free will to a substance or an addictive behavior, the less power you have to really be in control of yourself. You're letting it go. You're not safeguarding your agency, which resides here in a lot of ways, the thinking and reasoning part, but also in your heart, in your soul. What is driving you? What is motivating you? What is it that's going to give you a sense of who you are? And so that you don't live a generic life that just goes with whatever trend comes up on TikTok this week or next week. We want to be owners of ourselves, of our future, of our passions, our desires. We want to be the guardian of all of that. We can be the leader of our own life, but we've got to take care to safeguard our agency. Oh, my goodness, there's a lot out there for you. As teenagers, you have so many decisions to make that it can feel overwhelming. And that's where a lot of kids end up turning to substances, turning to addictive behaviors, turning to these high dopamine rushes, because those feel better than having to sit and plan and think about your future and face something that seems so unknown and that's so scary, when it's just easier to numb out and pretend like it doesn't exist. The thing is, your future exists already. It's coming. So why not embrace it? Prepare for it and welcome it. And that's what you need to do as a teenager now, creating that framework, creating the beginning of the picture. At least start doing the light sketch. My husband's an artist, so it's really fun to watch him to do watercolor sketches, and he just does these really light, kind of brush strokes, and kind of creates sort of the framework of what it's going to be. If it's a tree, if it's I don't know, mountain or something, he's kind of getting a very big, brief, quick sketch of like, this is the shape and this is where things are going to go. And as he keeps coming back and he fills in the detail, it becomes more and more clear about what it is. It becomes more and more realistic and beautiful and vibrant. His artwork is amazing. So I'm going to put a link in the comments. You can go see his Instagram page. It's so much fun to look through all of his artwork. And he does a lot of time-lapse work where you can see the stages of him creating his art pieces, whether it's watercolor or a lithograph or a lino cut. Beautiful work. It's my husband, Neil Cox. And but that's what I want you to think about right now. Teenagers, this is the time to kind of get those brush strokes in. Kind of get a vague thing here. I'm going to do something there. And then as you continue forward with your life and you are free from any sort of addiction or dependency, you will put in those fine details. They will come. And you'll get to add more and more detail, more texture and vibrancy and color and illumination and create a beautiful, beautiful life. That's what I want the most. My name is Michelle Cox and I'm a certified life coach. This is what I want the most for you as a teenager, is to feel that you have the capacity and the power to create the future that would bring you the most happiness. Every person deserves to be happy and to live a happy life where there's stability in relationships, not chaos. Stability in finances, not chaos. Stability in your future, keeping that goal in mind. Where are you going? Where are you heading? Keeping that stability. Stability in your home, your environment. Where do you live? Stability in housing is a powerful thing. It takes money, it takes planning, it takes work. But all of that is worth it if you have a stable, sustainable life. There's relief, there's peace, there's confidence in a stable life. So think about your agency, something that you need to safeguard as you protect this part of your brain. As you are developing teenagers, this is the part of the brain you really need to protect. So choosing to abstain from vaping, from tobacco, from marijuana, from alcohol, all the all those things that could diminish and reduce your ability to think and reason. Reining in how much you're gaming. I don't see gaming as a totally bad thing, honestly. It's fun. I could see kids getting together and they're having fun. But if you're doing it compulsively and for hours and hours, especially by yourself or only with online people you'll never ever meet in person, that's where you are creating a habit and a dependency that is going to diminish your light and your ability to think and plan and want to even progress. You'll lose your desire to move forward in your life and to have big dreams the more that you game. So there has to be a limit. It takes this part of your brain to set limits. It also takes parents to set limits. So honor your parents as they're setting limits for you. They want you to have the best future possible. They want you to have stability and not chaos. And they want you to have joy and not disappointment and misery. So teenagers, thank you for listening today. I want you to take this with you. Think about the ways that you can safeguard your agency, the ability to think and choose. Be clear about who you want to be. Be clear about what would be a stable, sustainable future. What does it include? What kind of education or training? What does that need? And when you start to think about, oh, but if I stay in school, if I do my assignments, if I turn them in on time and I do my best, I ask for help when I don't understand what the teacher is teaching in physics or math or how to write this paragraph in English. Ask for help. It's not scary anymore. It's actually a relief to ask because you want that stable future. So these are the things you want to do because you want that stable future. Move forward, okay? So if you have questions, I love answering questions. Please feel free to email me at michellecox.mindset@gmail.com. You can send me messages through here on Facebook or YouTube, however you're seeing this video, and find ways that you can enhance your own agency, safeguard it, fuel it, protect your brain and your body. Make sure that you are giving the best care that you can to yourself so that you can have a beautiful and happy future and be resilient. We're all going to have ups and downs, right? But you're going to be resilient. You're going to ride through the difficult times and you're going to make it through and you're going to share that light with others and inspire them as you go along the way. So teenagers, thank you for joining me. I can't wait to hear from you and share more ideas later on in this podcast. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.